8:46, welcome back. In today's Wellness Wednesday, we are discussing how your body burns calories and how you can set some realistic calorie goals to lose fat, but also preserve muscle. That's the key part here. Maxwell Nutrition Spencer Shilstone is here sharing some tips about your total daily energy expenditure. And it's good to know here, Spencer, if you're following along with that strong and lean program that we've been talking about, because you do want to stay lean, but you don't want to lose that muscle.
Of course. And basically, if you're trying to lose body fat and maintain your muscle tissue, there are two things you need to do. You want to make sure you're getting enough protein every day, and that you're doing resistance training. That way our body says, let's protect muscle and use fat as our energy source.
What's resistance training? Resistance
training is weightlifting, putting stress on the body through lifting heavier objects than you typically would be doing just without that. The other thing you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're eating in a calorie deficit. The only way we lose weight is if we're burning more calories than we're bringing in. So we want to figure out, well, how do we know how many calories our body's burning?
Sure.
So we have four ways that we do that. We have our basic metabolic rate. That is our basic life function, how many calories we're burning at rest. It takes about 60 to 70% of our total daily energy expenditure. After that, we want to know about what are we doing throughout the day that's not exercise, but it's still active. Am I taking the stairs rather than going on the elevator? Do I fidget a lot at my desk? These are all things that add a little bit more calorie expenditure. After that, we also want to make sure, what we eat, we burn calories to digest that. So we want to have better food choices to help us get that extra calorie burn.
So more fibrous foods?
More whole food nutrition is going to be good for that, because processed foods do not take as long for you to burn, for you to digest. So you're not going to burn as many calories. And then another thing is protein is the most calorie intensive. So you'll burn more doing that. Lastly, it's going to be about your exercise activity. That's just going to the gym, going for a run, but that only accounts for 5 to 10% of your total energy expenditure, but it's also the most important, because if we're not working out, if we're not training, our body's not going to prioritize protecting muscle. So when you do lose weight, you'll lose muscle and fat, and then that's actually going to lower your BMR.
And so you hear a lot about protein. You mentioned protein and making sure you have that protein consumption, but there's a lot on the market about protein, and more protein here, more protein there. I imagine you got to be careful with what you consume in that front too.
There's a point where having too much protein is not going to give you as much benefits. It's diminishing returns.
Or even the product itself too, right? In terms of like what you're eating. There are a lot of processed foods out there that still boast, oh, hey, you get 10 grams of protein per serving, but it's not necessarily the healthiest move for you.
Correct, and that's why you always want to shoot for more whole food nutrition. But things like protein powders are still helpful to help you get that extra protein without increasing the extra calories, because if I'm using a whey protein powder, I'll get about 20 grams per scoop, but if I was to get that same amount from just drinking milk, well, I have sugars, I have fat, and everything else, so I will be getting the same amount of protein, but it'll be more calories.
All right, quite a few products on the line there to get you ready to go and making good decisions this 2025.
Absolutely.
All right, Spencer, thank you. And to learn more about the Strong and Lean program that we've been talking about, also how to get started, you can visit maxwellnutrition.com. Also go to our website. We'll link you there.